exciting news this afternoon. A Midlands native making his mark on the film industry. This weekend, Justin O. Cooper is debuting his short film, CIRILO, A Legacy Untold, at the Freedom Festival International in Columbia on Sunday. Justin joining us live now on Midday. Justin, thank you so much for being here. Talk to us a little bit about the film and what folks can expect.
Well, CIRILO, A Legacy Untold is a documentary short film. It's about the life of CIRILO McSween, who was a Panamanian migrant who moved to the U.S. during the Jim Crow era. The film is really a story about resilience in the face of opposition and making a mark, even when you come from humble beginnings. And it's playing this weekend at the Freedom International Festival.
Wow, and that really sounds like something that everyone can relate to. So
Absolutely.
Talk to me just a little bit about how the idea came to be, how you got this film off the ground.
Well, as a former journalist, I'm always fascinated by human interest. Everyone has a story to tell. I actually learned of CIRILO's story servicing a client, and this particular client is a major insurance company, and CIRILO was the first African-American hired by this company in 1957. That alone piqued my interest, and I just went down the rabbit hole, as most journalists do. You want to get the backstory of the person that you're interested in, and quickly learned that aside from being the first African-American hired at a major insurance company, New York Life specifically, he went on to become a confidant to Dr. Martin Luther King and Reverend Jesse Jackson in the 1960s. So that just captivated me to tell the story because I considered him a hidden figure.
Yeah, absolutely, and a story that certainly needs to be told. What were some obstacles along the way, things that you navigated in making the film?
Well, I think any independent filmmaker will tell you finding the money to make the thing is always the challenge.
Sure.
I think most filmmakers, we all have champagne ideas with beer budgets. So finding the money to make the thing and really honing in on what I wanted to convey or the themes that I wanted to convey in the story. Those are some of the challenges, and doing it with a limited team, but still pulling it off. So despite the challenges that I faced, the satisfaction of knowing that I was able to complete it and to know that it being selected in film festivals, is validating as a filmmaker.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. What did your team look like? You talked about having a small but mighty team.
Small team, a lot of it I did myself. Originally, this was going to be a feature film, but as I mentioned, when funds are limited, you have to make the decision. Am I going to not do the thing, or am I going to use what I had to make something out of it? So initially, I was just approaching it as a producer with experience as a journalist. I did my own research. I can cut things. So editing and producing, I had that in the bag. Directing, I knew the story very well, had no intention of doing that. So that was another hat I had to wear. I brought in friends who have skills that I didn't necessarily have, like my colorist. I had hired my colorist as my assistant editor. I hired a music composer, and then I called in favors of friends like Ann Nesby, who is a singer who actually performed here this past weekend at the Women's Empowerment event at the fairgrounds. So just called in favors. So it was a small team, maybe of about 10 or less. We shot primarily in Chicago, and whatever we didn't shoot, we relied on archival footage to make a cohesive film.
So you certainly wore several hats, and I think there's just so many things that go into making a film like this that people may not even realize. Mm-hmm. Also, just before we go, wanted to ask you a little bit about your background and sort of how you got here, how you got to be a filmmaker. We have other, maybe young aspiring filmmakers out here watching. What can you tell us about your path to this point?
Well, I'm originally from Kingstree, South Carolina, so I'm a South Carolina native. I have always loved storytelling, so being on the news is interesting. Being a kid growing up in Kingstree, watching the news, and my journey from Kingstree led me to Columbia, where I was a student at Benedict College, graduating with a degree in mass communication, and just that experience alone really honed my technical skills and my passion for storytelling. And from Benedict and Columbia, I springboarded my career to Atlanta. Work behind the scenes, promoting and facilitating productions, and then on to Los Angeles. So it's been a whirlwind journey, and this is like a homecoming.
Justin, fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us. We're really excited to have you back in the Midlands, excited about the movie. So thank you so much for being here. And we want to turn things over to Sandra. So Sandra, we talked a lot about movies. Would this be a good weekend to be inside to watch some?